with Commissioner Roger Goodell on GMA this morning. Obviously, we are all pumped for the draft. Always good to see our guy, Marcus Spears, here with us. Stephen A., I'll start with you first. Which team do you think is under the most pressure this evening?
Well, I think it's the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna look at them right now because you know what? Listen, look at the roster that you have. I mean, you've got Ezekiel Elliott. Can you hear me, Molly? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. You've got Ezekiel Elliott. You've got Amari Cooper. You just signed to $100 million. You still got DeMarcus Lawrence. You paid him. Okay, you paid Jalen Smith. You're not paying your quarterback. All right. And Jerry Jones is running out of time. The reality of the situation is that this is not Miami where you've got some weapons, but you're rebuilding. This is not, and you can look at Tampa and acquiring Tom Brady and all of that stuff. We get all of that. But the bottom line is when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they're the ones that have underachieved year after year after year for the most part, and they've got to find a way to step up and get it done. I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys, and I'll be honest with you, Max and Pastor Spears, I won't deny it. You know what? You can come up with other solutions, other teams that might have more pressure than the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just having fun applying that pressure to the Dallas Cowboys because of their nauseating, disgusting fan base out there. I'm looking at the possibility of the Dallas Cowboys making some noise. And I'm thinking about all of the stuff that Dallas Cowboy fans are going to go through with their expectations, only to be found to end up miserable yet again. Anything that contributes to the misery of that disgusting, nauseating fan base is something I support. It's my personal feelings. It's my personal preference. I don't give a damn what anybody else says. It's about the misery of the Dallas Cowboy fan base. That is what I'm focused on with this answer.
There are a bunch of good answers here, and the Cowboys are not one of them, Stephen A. I would say the Miami Dolphins, and Marcus, you've been on this show talking about what the Dolphins have done in this offseason, but on top of that, they got 1 million draft picks, first-round picks, a boatload this year and next, and the way they finished the season, the way they went from laughingstock that seemed to quit early on, is this the worst team we've ever seen, to a 5-win team that beats the Patriots on the final week of the season in a must-win game for the Patriots, as it turned out. You know, do they want to buy? Yes or no? They didn't get the buy, and they lost in the first round, and now Tom Brady's gone. Like, that was a huge game for the Patriots, and Miami beat them. So they're poised. They're trending in the right direction. They have a coach who got them to buy in eventually. They have to get these picks right. It's been forever since Miami was good. And Miami, by the way, the Dolphins are a national team. There are some teams that ring bells nationally. And the Miami Dolphins, partly because it's an international, port city, and it's an awesome place, and also a lot because of Dan Marino. Marino was such a phenom that he created, and the Dolphins created, nationwide fans. They are a national team that I think flies under the radar in that respect, in a way. So the Dolphins are under tremendous pressure. I think the Giants are also under pressure. There are a lot of teams I would put as top pressurized teams in that top group of 5 or 6. But the Giants are another one. That's my team. And whatever Gettleman wants to say, look, I hit on the quarterback. Everyone said that I was going to get wrong. Well, Saquon Barkley, you hit on the running back too, but you drafted him 2nd overall. You're not supposed to do that, really, right? And the Giants are still terrible. Now you got a new coach. You got a top pick. At a certain point, it can't just be, well, you can argue I hit on this pick. You got to put together a team that can win. So the Giants are also under real pressure here.
Did you wake up this morning, Stephen A., planning on getting on people's nerves with that just ridiculous Dallas Cowboys under the most pressure? You just woke up wanting to get on people's nerves this morning? Oh, we lost. Okay. Well, let me piggyback on what you just said, Max. It is absolutely the Miami Dolphins. Listen. We can take drafts from the beginning of the time to drafts right now. The teams that are under the most pressure are the teams that need franchise quarterbacks, because we hear it all year long. If you don't have a quarterback, you cannot win in this league. And look at what the Dolphins did to acquire these picks. Obviously, trading Mika Fitzpatrick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had to make moves. They had to make big moves in order to acquire these picks. And if you don't have that guy behind center, it is not going to happen for you. Here's another reason why they're under so much pressure. Who the hell do they take? Is it Justin Herbert because you're concerned about Tua's injury history and his durability? Or is it Tua because the upside is a landslide over what we think Justin Herbert's upside is? They are in I won't say a terrible situation. They are in one of the hardest situations that I can remember in drafts by making a decision on a player that can either take your franchise to the highest of heights, which everybody believes Tua can by his talent, or they with Justin Herbert where they may have a fan base that just feels like, hey man, we just settled because this was the next best thing to Tua, but because Tua injury. There are so many things and so many chips that the Miami Dolphins put on the line in order to be sitting in this position at 5 to change their franchise. They legit do not have a franchise quarterback on their roster. They are under the most pressure, and it's not even really close to anybody else. Everybody says the Chargers. Tyrod Taylor has played good football. They at least think that they can float a season or two with Tyrod Taylor playing, especially with the talent around him. Miami is in no position to get this draft wrong.
Well, Pastor Spears, I didn't hear your opening soliloquy there, but I deduced that you have been talking about the Miami Dolphins. There was technical difficulties, but I heard most of it. Here's my response to that, sir. I would make the argument, excuse me, last time I checked, the Dallas Cowboys don't believe they got a franchise quarterback either. You understand? They can't sign him to a long-term deal. I mean, come on now. You're signing the franchise tag and all of that stuff. According to them, they don't have a franchise quarterback either. So that's point number one. Point number one. Point number two. Hold on. Say what? The exclusive franchise tag.
The what tag?
Right? Is that what
the
it is?
franchise tag. I just want to be sure I heard that right.
The exclusive franchise tag. But what I'm talking about is the long term. When you got a franchise quarterback, you sign him to a long-term deal. You don't put him on 1 year on 1 year deals. That's number one. Number two. Here's the deal, y'all. Let's keep this in mind. If you indeed have questions about that quarterback position, but you signed everybody else, and we're looking at you, and you're not just a playoff roster, but some would say a Super Bowl contender from a talent perspective, does that not apply pressure? I would say that it does. The Miami Dolphins decide Tua, stink up the joint all next year and the year after, and we'll still forgive them. We'll still forgive them. It's going to take time to come up with this stuff. The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. Those fans are on the clock, and I don't want you to try to take pressure off of them, Spears. We want to put it right where it belongs. How about them Cowboys? That's what everybody's saying all the time, right? Let's see what happens this year. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. I mean, what's wrong with that?
The Dallas Cowboys could use a pass rusher. Who couldn't? They could use an offensive lineman because of a retirement.
Yeah.
But they got the quarterback, the running back, the wideout, most of the offensive line, defensive studs.
Are we sure?
Like, damn, what do you want?
Are we sure?
But forget about the Dolphins and the Giants
are we sure
for
they got
a second.
Do we not know whether or not Dak Prescott's going to demand a trade? Are we sure?
What
Stephen,
about
they've already given.
What about the Las Vegas Raiders? What about, like, there are a million teams that come before the Cowboys?
I agree.
Stephen A., stop, bro, because I know what you're doing. Can you just stop it? First of all, Dallas has offered Dak Prescott. The impasse is on years, as I was told by my man Clarence Hill Jr., who you know down here in Dallas, because we talked about it this morning on Get Up. The second thing is, why do you have to wake up, all right, and have pressure on the Dallas Cowboys? Can you focus on your team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's going to need a quarterback after Ben Roethlisberger retire? Can you not wake up every morning? That's the problem. The Cowboys are always on your mind. And the reason why you so mad
Molly, hold
at
on a second.
and the fan base is not getting, because you always thinking about it.
Can I respond?
Go ahead.
Listen. All I know is this. Antonio Brown was gone.